Hey, listen, I want to work with you. If you got a story to tell, the people in our community, ask them, anybody you know that's in hunger to speak, they'll tell you we have a good time. And I do sessions with them one on one. I help them in so many ways. I got somebody I'm supposed to coach this morning, and we have some fun because I love not only telling stories, I love to hear the story, pull the story out, let them do their own take on the story, and then show them this is what I did with my story so that you can learn how to do it with your story to speak intuitively and be able to increase your value, your impact, and your cash flow. People say money won't make you happy, but it's right up there with oxygen. I want you to go to, if you're ready for something different, if you're ready to transition out of what you're doing now into something that you love, I want to ask you, if you knew you had 6 months to live, will you continue to work on the job that you're working on? I know a lot of people say, no, if you had 6 months, now you don't know how much time you have, but if you had 6 months to live, now, if you ask me that question, if I had 6 months, y'all know what I would say. I would still speak. I gave a speech from my hospital bed. If you don't believe it, just Google it. Les Brown speaking in the hospital for an hour and a half. They told me I might lose my voice when they gave me radiation in my spinal area for fourth stage cancer. When I received, listen to this, you got to Google this. This is going to blow your mind. I was up 3:30 this morning, and I want you to do this. I'm giving you an assignment right now. I want you to look at me right now. You see me? Okay, good. When I had received 200, let me say it again. When I had received 238 radiation seed implants for prostate cancer, 238. I've never met anybody, heard of anybody who received more than that. The tumor was so large. I gave a speech 4 days later. You know what the title of the speech was? You are more powerful than cancer. No matter how much I weighed then, 165 pounds. If you go to Les Brown, you are more powerful than cancer. I was giving some students instructions on how to do a video and make it informative and engaging. And the guy in the studio, he was so enthralled. I was just going to give them like 5 or 6 minutes instructions, and he kept motioning me to continue. And so I ad-lib and continued to talk. Unbeknownst to me, his wife had breast cancer. She had given up, and he wanted to take that recording home to his wife, who was still here. And that was over 29 years ago. All right? And so, but I want you to look at me. I mean, I look like a skeleton, but I was fine though. I won't get my sexy back. I'm a fat boy right now, but I won't get my sexy back. Yeah, I got my little cheeks. Yeah, you need little cheeks. Mama would love these cheeks. But they going. They going. They gotta go. They gotta go. They gotta go. All right. Listen, laughter is important. It boosts your immune system. 1 minute of laughter boosts your immune system for over 24 hours. You get through watching me, you won't get sick for 30 years. 1 minute of anger weakens your immune system for 4 to 5 hours. I studied psychoneuroimmunology. There's a strategy, there's a method to my, I'm not going to say madness, to my laughter. If you're ready to do something new, like a lady called me, she said, I just ran across you. I knew nothing about you, but I've just been watching you on YouTube, watching you speak in the Georgia Dome. Can you teach me how to speak like that and command an audience of 80,000 people? I said, yes, that's what I do. She said, oh my God, I want to learn how to do that. Can you help me have the confidence and not be fearful? I said, absolutely. I'm joining Hungry to Speak, and I'm going to bring my husband to join as well. I want you to go on YouTube and put in Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. And just watch me. I was scared, but I did it. I was scared, yes I was. I was in the bathroom 7 times. I had to knock on the door. Hey, Brownie, yes? It's time, man. It's stalling for you to come up. Mike, okay, I just need a little bit more time. You scared, aren't you? Yeah. Brownie, are you listening to me? Yes? Come out, man. Make your mother proud. Mike, don't use my mama on me. Come on, man. That's how they got me out the bathroom. I was scared. Then we started walking toward the stage. I grabbed their hands, Dexter Yeager and Mike Williams and everybody, the security guards, and I said, pray for me. And they started praying. I dropped down on my knees. Then I grabbed the hands and put it on top of my head like I was going to make a difference. But I did it. I did it scared. Scourge. Oh, boy. Oh, he's happy. Yes, I am. Why? As Orrin Hudson would say, it's the best day of my life. And I don't know you. I can't even see you. It's the best day of your life, too. If you don't believe it, try missing one. Orrin Hudson. Boy, he's a strategic thinker. Teach our young kids how to play chess and how to be thinkers. Yeah, he's a bad boy. He's awesome. Awesome brother.
What transformed you from Les Brown working for Amway to Les Brown, the motivational speaker? Like, what was that transition point? And why?
Because people started paying me. How much do you charge? How much have you allocated? We only have $2,000. I didn't speak right away because I would have spoken in unknown tongues.
Yeah.
I say, okay. And so that's how. Because if you impact drives requests, if you make a difference in people, I called you because you impacted me. I didn't know you.
Yeah.
But when you spoke and I'm looking at your eyes, I'm listening to your voice, and you're sharing an idea and concept of how you can provide virtual assistance for people and so allow you to do what you do best and have people that can take the stuff off your plate and be able to allow you to grow your business. And how you were all in on it. I just said, I like this dude. People don't do business with you unless they like you. Who are you? What do you have? Can I trust you? And so I felt you in my heart. And I said, I got to call you. And then I talked to one of the operators. I said, I want to talk to the dude that did the commercial. I gave him a fit.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know. Who are you again?
Yes.
But when you called in, my whole team was like, I got a message, I got an email, somebody called my cell phone, and somebody was texting me. And it was like, okay.
Well, the reason that when I think about you, I've been around this I'm 79. I've been on stage with Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, with Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn. And there's a vacuum now that where many people are focused on speaking to sell.
Yeah.
And so I saw you speaking to help people to maximize the impact of what they want to do. by taking things off the plate that they shouldn't be focused on. Og Mandino, who's a very good friend of mine, wrote the Greatest Salesman in the World. He said in the book, The University of Success, most people fail in life because they become distracted by secondary activity. And what you were saying, hey, you don't need to be focused on secondary activity. You want to operate in your calling, in your gift. You want to do that which you do well. And if you do that, you can do it even more effectively and have a greater impact by taking stuff off your plate that does not impact your bottom line.
Why do you think people get distracted by that secondary stuff? Like they'll be growing a business and all of a sudden they get so busy that they forget the one thing that matters. Like, what do you think that?
Where will we get that experience from? Where will we get that knowledge from? We'd spend 12 years in school, reading, writing, arithmetic. Yeah. Don't teach critical thinking. Don't teach how to build relationships. Don't teach who am I? Where am I going? Who's going with me? Yeah. Does not teach self-reflection. Where are we going to get that? You think that we are not aware of that should be a part of the curriculum? And it's not, because school is designed 12 years to prepare you to go out and to get a job, the journey of the broke. And so that program is gone now. It's a different place. And so people now have to reinvent themselves. People now have to upgrade their skills. People now have to do what Peter Drucker talked about. He said that we must be willing to unlearn, because the things that we know, the things that we've learned won't serve us now. We got to be willing to unlearn, learn, and relearn. This is where we are right now. And we have to do that continuously. Otherwise, artificial intelligence will leave us behind. And most people don't know that. It's common sense, but not common practice. So what you're doing in introducing, you have to educate people and create the thirst, because most people don't understand. Why would I need a virtual assistant? They don't understand that. I should have had it a long time ago. But I was trying to do it with my family, and I realized that you can have family members that's in the business, but the business is not in them.
Yeah.
And that cost you. And I had periods where I had somebody embezzle over $400,000 from me, and I made a very bad mistake. I gave a person a position who was nice, who was honest, but did not have the skill set. So my volume of impact of $5 million dropped dramatically to $1,600,000, because I spent a long time playing not to get hurt. I wasn't in business at this time to win, because I got hit, because somebody that I trusted, somebody that I believed in, embezzled money from me. And I said, this is not going to ever happen to me again. I'm going to hire somebody that I can trust and that will have my back. But they didn't have the knowledge, the skill set, and the mindset to be an asset to me, to take me to the level that I wanted to go. I had to agonize many nights over not breaking down and calling this guy and saying, look here, I'm sorry, I'm fired you. I know you took my money, but can you next time just don't let me find out? I mean, so many nights I wanted to call him and say, I'm sorry. But I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And get some other strategic partners. But when you're on the road, and I was speaking sometimes 5-6 times a day.
Wow.
Where you go into a city and you speak for a breakfast, then you speak at lunch, then you speak in the afternoon, then you speak at an early dinner, and then I'll be the closing speaker, because we will have 2 to 3 areas geographically where things are going on.
Yeah.
And I was doing this tour called Millionaires in Training. Donald Trump was a part of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I was the closing speaker on those events. And so I'll never forget the last one I did, and when Donald Trump showed up at lunchtime, people just packed the room. Mm-hmm. And so when he finished, there were people just following him to leave. So I said to the promoter, he said to me, I don't think anybody's going to be here this afternoon. Do you still want to speak? I said, yeah. I said, can I have the microphone now? He said, yes. I said, excuse me, while you're running out to talk to someone who had an allowance of $5, at age 5, of $300,000, who had a father who financed everything he did. You want to smell his breath. You want to follow him. Unless you got that kind of allowance on a monthly basis, unless you've got a father that's got that kind of money, unless you have that, go ahead and follow him. Mm-hmm. I've made my first million.
Perfect.
I only want to speak to the people here who's ready to make their first million and not looking to be around a celebrity, but learning the techniques and strategies on how you can bring out the millionaire in you. And they turned red in the face and they came back in the room and sat down. I said, okay, because they looked at me and said, damn, if he has made his first million in 3 years, why haven't I made mine?
That's right.
And so they came and sat down. So I was able to retain the audiences and close out. And it was standing room only.
I love that.
When I first heard you at NSA when you joined, you told the story of how you learned how to make words beautiful. And you described the process you went through because you weren't as articulate, certainly as a young man as you are now. I never forgot those things that you talked about. Could you share how you developed that such unique Les Brown word delivery system that you have? This would be helpful to this group.
That's a good question. Mr. Washington said, what do you want to do with your life, young man? I said...
Mic up? Okay, sorry.
A little close. It's your microphone. Hold it up a little closer.
Okay, he said, what do you want to do with your life, young man? I said, I'd like to become a disc jockey. He said, here are my car keys. I said, what is it? He said, I want you to go in my car at 12 noon. Don't go to the cafeteria. Bring a sandwich to school. He said, in order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. I want you to listen to a guy named Paul Harvey. He's the greatest communicator in the world. He does a program at 12 noon called The Rest of the Story. So at lunchtime, I would be in his car and the air conditioner going, eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches and listening to Paul Harvey, who said, good day. And I studied Paul Harvey. I watched Billy Graham. I turned the volume down. I watched his eyes. He was very intense with his eyes. I studied Zig Ziglar. I learned the value of energy. Zig had energy. Jim Rohn, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. I read other philosophers, Winston Churchill, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it. At the end, there it is. When I train speakers, I say to them, you must be a perpetual learner. As soon as your audience knows as much as you know, they no longer need you. What Robert Schuller said, we must expand or we are expendable. And we're in this place that Peter Drucker said that we must be willing to unlearn, learn, and relearn. So this is a new space. Einstein said the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. So I wanted to make Mike Williams said, Brownie, you must study and you must be, I don't want to train you to speak in a niche. I want to train you to speak to the world. Because when I told him I wanted him to be my coach, because I saw him speak and he was so captivating and had humor and quotes and well-read. And I said, man, can you teach me to do what you do? He said, yes. So I said, great. And then he asked me a question. James, who you want to speak to? I said, the NAACP, the Urban League. All of a sudden, the phone went dead. I say, man, we lost the line. He said, no, we did not. I said, what happened? He said, I don't want to work with anybody who has such a small vision, and hung up again. I called him back. I said, man, please don't hang up on me. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to speak to the world. He said, okay. Then we got some synergy. It's a good fit because you can. I don't want you to see yourself as Les Brown, LB, Triple P. Les Brown, your platter playing pauper. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. You're not just a disc jockey. I want you to empower and change people's lives. You got that in you. I say, thank you, Mike. Sometimes you, and this is, write this down, sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I think that is part of the key, is the being around people that believe in you oftentimes more than you believe in yourself. I mean, you talk a lot
Absolutely.
about that in your book. And I mean, I would not be, I don't think I'd be where I'm at with addiction recovery had I not met many individuals that somehow, when I'm talking my way out of any level of living a functional life, even surviving, is having people, you can do it, you can do it. And I think the difference, though, is when it's puffery versus it really penetrates.
Yeah.
Like real nutrition versus,
Absolutely.
Where's Michael Burnoff? Michael Burnoff's somewhere in the building. I think he's downstairs.
Yeah, but I want to say thank you. When my issue dealing with the drugs, and I knew what your passion was, you got to have somebody that you can talk to and you can be transparent with and share things about yourself and know that they won't judge you. Mm-hmm. And so I knew when I called you and told you that I was addicted to drugs, you wouldn't say, you Les Brown, you're the motivator. How in the hell you get hooked on drugs? Yeah. You didn't judge me. I say to speakers, who you are behind the words are far more important than the words that you speak. Yeah. And so because of your compassion, when I'm training and working with speakers, I work first with the messenger, mm-hmm. and then the message, and then the delivery. Because if it comes through the words that you speak, it comes through when you're speaking, that people can feel you or they can just hear you. And they hear you in their heart. But if you want to change an audience or change a person, you have to acknowledge that people are asking 3 questions when they see you. Who are you? What do you have? And can I trust you?
Mm-hmm. What was the last one?
Can I trust you? Can I trust you with my heart? Can I trust you with my secrets? There's a book years ago I read called Why I'm Afraid to Tell You Who I Am, because you might not like me and that's all I've got. So this is Les Brown, the motivator, who talk about if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And I had to call my friend and say, hey man, I'm dealing with something up in here, and I know you know. And you were so comforting to me. You gave me strength. You said you could do this, man. And that, I mean, I knew I had my work cut out for me. And that meant so much to me. And I'm so honored to be here to serve you and your group. And I'm always available to you. I want us to finish life together, but you too young. You know, when I was first diagnosed with prostate cancer, they said I was terminal. My mother had passed, and she came to me in a dream. She had a great sense of humor. She said, baby, she said, I heard you have prostate cancer. She said you missed me. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I woke up, I said, no, Mama. I ain't ready to see you yet.
I have to say something about just it's really interesting what you just said. What a great framework of the messenger, the message, then the delivery. The ability to convey and transfer belief, to transfer ability. Like, I have a friend who's 60 years old who 2 weeks, 6 days ago, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And I let him know you were coming down here, and he's like, I love Les Brown, and he's like, is there any way you could connect me to him? And
I'd like to talk to him.
yeah, you did, and what?
Yeah.
And, yeah, and well,
yes.
The reason I bring
Did you
this
tell
up,
him? Did he tell you about our conversation?
oh, he loved it. I mean, he left me a message last night. A group of closest friends, and this
Rick.
is a very successful dude, and he is in such a good state of mind right now. You know, he's also aware of the fact that this is not the cancer you want to get, right? He's telling me about how he's met in the last week with supposedly the best pancreatic cancer doctor in the world, and he's like, it's across the board. The difference is where some will say, no matter what you do, you got 2 to 5 years, and others where it's like, you know, no, there's no limit. It's, you know, he's like, he's talked to so many people, and he's tired and he's exhausted, and his wife, who's, you know, more along mainstream medicine, and he's but the fact is that conversation with you literally changed the trajectory of this guy's behavior, his thought process. And the reason I bring this up is that when you can transfer belief, hope, to other people, because I think hope is an interesting thing. Hope used in false, superficial ways is like bullshitting people.
Yes.
There's damaging ways to use hope, and hope used in certain ways heals people, right? And so the point is, you talk to this individual. And so it's not just a conversation, though. You have developed this ability, which I know is part of what you do with other people. That's your business, right?
Yeah, but I asked him a key question. I said, why you want to be here? For his wife, for his children.
Kid, yeah.
When you think about man's search for meaning, and Viktor Frankl, he said the Jews that survived the inexpressible cruelties of Nazism, and I went to Poland. I wanted to go to the place where Anne Ryan was, and I went to Auschwitz because I worked with a guy named Sam Axelrod, who was one of my early mentors. He said they either had some spiritual commitment they had with their lives, or some loved one that they were determined to see, or some reason that was bigger than them. And so once I found out that his reason was his family, I started talking about it from that point. I said, let me tell you something, why we're going to do this. And notice I said, why we're going to do this. I spoke from the end that we got this done. You got to stick a fork in it, like you see a basketball game. A guy shoots a basket, and, you know, Steph Curry, and start running down court before they even hit the nets. All right, so that when we speak to people, we want to affirm them. Whenever I speak, I say again and again, you have something special. You've got greatness in you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. What we're doing is where we are breaking through all of the negative conversations that's in the collective consciousness of people. Yeah. Your passion, your energy, and the words that you use will dismantle and open up their mind where they begin to see. I want everybody to repeat after me, please. It's possible. It's possible. I want you to write this down and show you a model that you can use in any type of situation. So if you go get brought in to speak at a corporation, first you want to do a needs assessment, find out their mission statement, and find out what is it they're looking for. And then what I do at the top of your speech, what you want to do is paint the picture of what they say their goals are in their mission statement, and say, it's possible. As you begin to look at the Genius Network, the goal and objective of changing the planet, of operating out of the thinking that as we face inevitable death, one day we're going to leave here. What in the meaning and purpose of our lives that will not be undone or destroyed when we are gone? The people that come here at the Genius Network, I want to say to you, Mr. Polish, that those people will be transformed, and the people's lives that they touch, they will be transformed, and this will have a rippling effect into the future that you don't get to see. Let us say together, it's necessary.
It's necessary.
That as you decided to do this and get involved in doing the greater work, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world, that you decided, I got to do this. You got to, Ken helps it. That you said to yourself, I want to live a life that will outlive me. I've had a defining moment in my life that I'd lost myself in drug addiction, and then there was a defining moment that I said, this is not me. And I died to who Joe was then to give birth to this Joe that you now see. And I decided it was a non-negotiable with my life. I want to live a life that will make an impact. The things that I've gone through will not define me. They will refine me so I can live a life of contribution. Let us say together, it's you.
It's you.
It's me.
It's me.
George Bernard Shaw said the people that make it in his life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. And so you decided that I'm going to take a stand with my life. Therefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, that having done all to stand. You decided when something happens, there's a victim, there's a perpetrator, and there are the witnesses. And you decided, I'm not going to be a witness. You decided that if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And that gave birth to the Genius Network. You see what I did with it? How you edified the person who started it, who wrote the check, and you make him look good. He will not only write you another check and bring you back. 95% of my speaking engagements are repeat, and they give me referrals. You want to fry the fish while the grease is hot. Is there anybody else you know that can use my services? All right, you know.
Yeah.
You see what I did with that? Yes, go ahead.
Wow.
Do you think story helps people realize that they have an addiction to helplessness? And,
Absolutely. You have to
and build a bridge to get them away from that
Absolutely.
posture?
That's the purpose of the story, because what the story does is distract, dispute, and inspire. What you do, how people live their lives, is a result of the story they believe about themselves. If there are 500 people in an audience, there are 500 individual stories that's going on. So that's why it's important that we learn how to strategically create an experience with our story, so those 500 people will stop listening to their story. Through the course of your telling the story, they will back away from the possibility of blindness and say, I can't sell, or I can't do this, or I'm not ready to learn something different and new and change the page in my life. You cause them to back away from the possibility of blindness and inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives, because you've distracted them from their story, and you used the example of a Pauline Arhe or a Mike Jones or a Dexter Yeager to help them say, whoa, if he can do it, I can do it, because what's possible for one is possible for all. And now they're ready to start a new chapter with their lives.
Can you tell I'm a fan? I mean, I could just sit here all day and we could just talk, because,
Yeah.
I mean, the way you talk is so... The average person wants to give facts. They want so much to, to prove to somebody else that they know something. So they're given facts and information. And through your stories and through the quotes that provide third-party validation,
Yes.
that lets them know it's not just your opinion. It's other smart people have had the same opinion in the past.
Yes.
You know, it's so masterfully done, and I hope you're getting a lot of tips here. And I hope as we're done with this interview, we're not done now, but when we're done with it, then you start to practice your story.
That's
and you
key.
start to, tell your story to your dog and tell your story
Right,
to your
and get
kids.
some coaching, because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You have to, this Les Brown that you now see, I didn't know he existed. I used to be a different person, but a guy named Mike Williams, he interrupted the story in my head. He said, Les, you can do more than be a disc jockey. What do you mean? I'm LB, Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing Papa. There were none before me, there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single, love to make a certified, bona fide, duly qualified to bring you satisfaction, a whole lot of action. I had to kill him off. Bam, bam, bam. He said, Les, you can do more than be the MC at the Bottoms Up Club and the Pink Pussycat and the Jamaica Club. You can talk to corporations and organizations. I said, what would I talk to them about? I don't have any college training. He said, Les, all of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. You can learn. Okay, and so because of how he communicated with me,
He created a thirst. One of the things I say to people, particularly when you come into this business, if someone has recruited you into this business, they saw something in you. And one of the things I strongly believe in, why Mike is still my mentor to this day, Mike Williams, and that is that sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. So whoever invited you into this business, they saw something in you. And if you don't see it, it doesn't matter that you don't see it, because eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you if you say yes to your dream and yes to the opportunity that the multi-level marketing industry can afford you.
Can afford you.
Yes.
I love it.
Since we're there, right before we came on today, I was talking to him. You want to tell them the story about the 99-cent store, the dollar store, the Walmarts, the
First of
Neiman
all,
Marcus?
yes.
Yeah.
First of all, he's still in diapers. I'm 72.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right? I served at the Lord's Supper. So let's get that straight. I'm an
When
old
he was
guy.
15, I was being born.
All right, yes. And I believe that you're never too old to learn and you're never too young to teach. And that's why I admire you, and that's why I have no qualms about asking you to mentor me in this next chapter of my life, because I'm not through yet and there's much more for me to do. And I was talking to you about your model, going
Our
from
business
competing, his business model, competing with dollar store all the way up to thousands of dollars. And that is so brilliant. One of the things, when I read the book, Alvin Toffler, Future Shock, and he talked about the fact that when we go from a domestic economy to a global economy, an education economy, the things are going to change, and it will be a time where people have to think and have to be creative and find ways to do what they do in a far more effective way, do more and do it faster and with less resources and manpower. You have mastered that, and you're teaching others how to do it. We learn, we earn, and we pass it on. And that's what I admire about you, that you're passing it on. It's not just about you, but you're building a legacy and empowering people who will go into a future that neither one of us will see, that will take it to the next level. And that's exciting.
How many speaking gigs have you done around the world? Any idea how many stages you've been on, Les? The legend, Les Brown, is in the studio. I'm so
I've
excited.
spoken to as many as 80,000 people. If people go online and put in Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome,
Yeah.
and the speech is called "It's Not Over Till You Win." Dexter Yeager from Amway, he put that event together. The largest gathering of entrepreneurs. That was the largest audience of over 80,000. Last year, I spoke in Poland to over 25,000. That was a very powerful gathering. But I've spoken in so many places.
How many times? I know you've been in Miami 4 times in your entire career.
In my entire career.
Only 4 times, by the way.
Only 4 times. Yeah, and I was born
But you
in
grew
Liberty
up here,
City.
right?
Born in Liberty City, an abandoned building with a twin brother. We're adopted.
I'm a twin.
No, you're not.
Identical twin, man.
Whoa, we're fraternal twins.
Okay,
And so,
okay.
he looks like my son because I use mascara to cover my gray. There's no shame. I put her on stage, all right?
Okay.
Yeah, but so Wesley and I, we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. She had a 3rd grade education. She worked on Miami Beach for wealthy families. And my dream, as we were coming up, was to buy her a home. That's what drove me. And one of the families that she worked for, Mrs. Swiderski, used to listen to Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret in the World, and Bill Bailey and Glenn Turner. And that was early stages of cultivating my mind and my thoughts. The Strangest Secret in the World.
Okay.
That was the first motivational message that I heard that sold over 1 million. He was an insurance executive, and he created these motivational messages for his insurance agents to listen to. And their performance began to increase. He had just an incredible voice, and I loved his voice and his content. And then I ran into Jim Rohn, and he worked for a guy named Bill Bailey. He had a company called Best Line Products. And I heard Jim speak. I was fascinated by him and Bill Bailey from Louisville, Kentucky. And those speakers spoke into my life. I always tell speakers, I train them now, and I say that when we speak, we create, as you know, an experience, because how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And so when you speak, what you do is distract, dispute, and inspire. You distract them from their story with your story. Through the strategic execution of your story and the things that you have learned and the failures and the setbacks and the victories, you dismantle their current belief system and inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say,
to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives. Distract, dispute, and inspire. We create an experience. And I believe that the reason that many speakers aren't able to do what we do is they feel that information is important. And I can tell you unequivocally if information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy.
Yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
hear what he's saying, okay?
Yeah.
He's talking about the dismantling of the old story that you're telling the world, okay?
Yes.
And some people have the ability, the magical, miraculous ability to do that. This man right here has it.
You have it too.
Thank you.
I've been watching you. I said, you can't sneak up on the old man. I said, look at him. You think you're going to have bush feet? No way, Jose.
Me and Les Brown are going to be working together.
Yes.
March 17th, 18th, and 19th, right here in Miami. He's only spoken here 4 times in the world. You've probably been to Europe more than 4 times.
Oh my goodness, yes. I've spoken in Poland, in Johannesburg, South Africa, in Australia, in London, England, and Hong Kong. I've spoken all over the world.
And you know, Les, I mean, you're 72. I'm 58 years old. I now, you have 10 kids.
Yes,
I
5
have
boys
2.
and 5 girls.
He's
Yes.
trying to tell me to
You've
get
got
busy.
to pick up the pace. Yes,
Okay.
there's a little, he said, be fruitful and multiply. I took him seriously.
Yeah, you did,
Yes.
man. He's 10X. This dude is
That's what I'm
10X.
talking about. Can you feel a brother up in here?
I can.
Yes.
I can. And so, I mean, look, you and I'm sure you do, and I'm transparent, so I talk about this. I know I'm at the, closer to the end of my career than the beginning of it.
I don't think so.
No?
No, because part of delivering this message, when you're in alignment with your purpose, I believe that gives you more time on the universe. Let's look at me. I'm 72, but I don't look it. I don't have a 72-year-old energy. And there's a difference between that physiological age and that spiritual age. And I think when you're in alignment and doing what you're supposed to do that pleasures God, it keeps you young. You have the energy of a 20-year-old. That allows you to be
But I mean,
a
there's going to
channel.
be a time when you and I are not live in these bodies on a stage.
Without any question.
Okay?
And I'm
Hey,
not looking forward to that.
Les Brown, stay with me. We'll be
Yes.
right back for Power Players. Welcome back to Power Players. Grant Cardone here with the legendary Les Brown. We were talking on break. He promised a breakthrough in March.
Without
How
any
can
question.
you do that?
Because of the fact that what we do, we have the ability, and we've developed it over a period of time, and I don't know exactly when it happens, where you can speak to a crowd of people, and you're speaking to them as a group, but also individually, that they come away as a result of your speaking into them. And as we weave a story with our experiences because of who we are behind the words that we speak, because of what we've gone through. A person hasn't gone through anything, it's hard for them to reach somebody's heart because they've never been there. Sometimes God has to break a life before he can use a life. And so you and I, two
Church,
individuals,
baby,
come on
church.
down. Yeah, we've been broken.
Yeah.
And so he put us back together. And as a result of that we can be used, but we couldn't be used before. And so to me, to be able to be a channel to help people discover a part of themselves that they could never discover by themselves, that's what you do, that's what we do, and that's why people listen to us and come to us.
So why do people, so many people want to be public speakers, but are also fearful of it? And how can you help that person?
Oh, the training that I do, that they speak immediately. That's the quickest thing to go. They speak immediately. You have to set them up so they don't have time to think. And so in the training, they speak immediately and they love it because I believe that we're supposed to be doing this. I had a lady flew from Australia recently and to be trained by me, and she emailed me and said, cost is not an issue. And so I asked her the second day, and I only train with people that I feel a close connection with one-on-one. And I said, why did you want to come to me? She said, I saw American television, and it talked about this young white boy that went into a black church and killed 9 people. And she said, I said to myself, what if I had gotten in his ear? She says, nothing enters except through the eyes or the ears. And she said, and this gave me goose pimples, she said, you speak from your heart. And I want to learn how to do that because I believe the world is the way that it is, not because a few people are violent. She said, the world is the way that it is because too many people are silent.
Yes.
And I said, whoa. And I decided
Dude, that's awesome.
that my goal is to help people outside of politics and outside of religion, which polarize people.
Have a voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Politicians say, do as I tell you to do, and I'll give you a piece of American pie. Ministers say, do as I tell you to do, and I can teach you how to live after you die. And our goal is teaching people how to live right here, right now, because the difference ultimately between what we do and what ministers do, they preach the gospel about Jesus. We preach the gospel that Jesus preached. They sell the messenger, and we sell the message. And so as a result, we can empower people to take charge of their lives and begin to create a new story, to write new chapters with their lives.
So like Les talked about the lady from Australia that says it's not because of the violence, but because of the silence.
Yeah.
I think most businesses fail. Most brands never make it. Most people never reach their greatness because they don't know how to tell their story.
Yes, that's major.
What will you be sharing with the audience? Because look, man.
Let me just share with you why the story is
Success.
important. Yes. Why the story is important is because when you speak, if you're selling,
Yeah.
you're an entrepreneur, you got a product, you have an expertise, knowledge is a new currency.
Yeah.
People are asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And so if you don't answer that, because we know people do business with
what, why?
Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you have? And why should I care? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And when you can answer that, now you're building a rapport and a connection that creates a possibility where you can do business together and help each other go to that next level.
Yeah. Guys spoken all over the world. Emmy Award winner for fundraising for public broadcasting.
Yes.
Fortune 500 CEOs all over the world, small business owners, nonprofit, community leaders. You're an inspiration to me because you sit out in front of me and give me like what is possible. Right?
Yes.
So you've really been an inspiration to me. And,
Thank you so
I know
much.
millions and millions of others. I look
And
forward
you've
to
done the same for me, and you play it down. You're so humble.
No.
Come
I'm not
on.
humble.
Yeah,
I'm not a humble man.
You just
I am
humble
not-
bread. You just humble bread.
No, I'm
but
not
I ain't going for it.
Dude, I am not a humble man. He's going to speak on Saturday, right?
Saturday, yes.
Saturday.
And you know, this is
But you got to
for
come
me.
in the night before, man.
I will come in the night before because I live here now.
Okay. Good. So we're
Yes.
going to have a yacht party.
Yes.
Can
I
you
look forward to
swim?
it. Yes, you can't be in Miami and not swim.
Dude, I've met so many people here that can't swim. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like, what are you doing on planet Earth that's 2/3
Yeah,
water and you
they,
can't
they
swim?
won't be around too long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Les Brown, folks, a legend, okay? If you don't have his book, Laws of Success, okay, go get that book today on Amazon.
Yes.
You can get it anywhere, right?
You can get it on Amazon primarily. But the other thing I'm interested in people checking us out at the Les Brown Institute, because I think it's my mission to train these new voices of hope. When there's hope in the future, it gives you power in the present. We live in the greatest country in the world. There's something wrong when people try and outswim sharks to get here or outrun a Jeep barefooted to get here.
To come to the country.
And the suicide rate in America is higher than the number of people that were killed last year in car accidents. Something is wrong with that. They lost
Crazy,
hope.
man.
And we are voices of hope. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. And that's what my goal and mission I feel that God has with me, the Les Brown Institute, is to train people how to tell their story and to transform the lives of other individuals. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, he's going to stick to that because that's what he's been doing for 40 years, okay? And he's going to stick to you. If you're committed to your health, to your well-being, to your wealth, to your future, your family, the love, whatever you believe in, we want to help you. March 17th, 18th, and 19th in Miami. Now, look, if you can't get here, I'm going to stream it to them.
Yes.
We got people, a guy called me the other day and said, hey, look, I got 10 people, I bought 10 tickets. I can't get down there because of this.
Yes.
We're going to stream it to those people, okay? I know you got a bunch of your folks coming.
Without any question, and all my children will be there too.
Okay.
So that's going to have the place half full.
And you're going to be there. Half full, okay? I'm telling you, this is going to be the best.
Yes.
He talked about that Georgia conference.
Yeah, Georgia Dome. I was speaking to 80,000 people. Call It's Not Over Till You Win. They can see it on YouTube.
Now, what if there was only 2,000 people in the room
It doesn't
rather than
matter.
80,000?
It doesn't matter.
But don't you think those
Trust
2,000
me,
would get more?
They will get more out of it because I'm going to get the butter from the duck. Trust me on that.
The butter from the duck.
Yes.
You want to talk about the pepper in the fork?
Yes, I've been eating hot pepper on the fork right before this event because I'm going to be fired up and hungry.
I guarantee he will do the single best presentation of his entire career because the bar has been raised, folks. Look at
Yes,
the
it has
people
been.
here, okay? Jay Abrahams. You know Jay?
Absolutely.
What'd you say about Jay?
Jay is very knowledgeable, and he's
Big
going to do
words.
very yes. He's big words.
You got
But
it.
there's some people. There's a market there.
There,
Because
Kevin
in
Harrington.
every
You know Kevin
audience,
from
the
Shark
audience
Tank?
is inside of the audience. Yes, I know it, Chair. Kevin.
Infomercial genius.
Yes,
Okay,
he's good.
done almost $1 billion on infomercials.
Yeah.
You know Tim Story that worked with Oprah?
Yeah,
Okay.
Tim is good.
Tim
And-
Grover worked with Kobe and Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Michael Jordan, the basketball player.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you play basketball?
Yes, and I got a good hook.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Ask
Now, I think he's exaggerating.
Ask Michael
now.
about me. We were born on the same date. He and Jim Brown,
Are you
February
kidding, man?
17th. Absolutely.
I don't know, man. I think we're beyond public speaking now. Do you know this dude, Andy Frisella?
Yes, but not
Okay,
personally.
$100 million
yes.
earner.
Yeah, he's
$100
a
million
bad
a
boy.
year.
Yeah,
okay?
that's somebody I
Jamie
want to know
Shanks,
more.
Roddy Chong, I'm bringing in a violinist.
You know,
You don't know this dude. He's a little Asian
yes,
dude.
he's
Makes about
he's,
$3 million
he's
a year.
very expressive.
You
when
know
he
this
plays.
dude? You do know
Yes.
it. Bobby Castro. You don't know Bobby.
No, I don't know
He's
Bobby.
a white dude, man.
Yes.
Right here in Miami.
Right here in Miami?
$600 million valuation.
What does
on
he
his
do?
company. Actually, Bankers Healthcare. I think you spoke to
Yes,
this
I
group
spoke
once.
there.
Okay. Jack and Telly,
No.
$1.5 billion business.
Man, what a powerful lineup you have. You know what?
Per year.
Per year.
Every year he bangs out $1 billion. There's
You
a
know
$1 billion list, but look, it wasn't gonna be complete
Yes.
without my man, Mr. 10X, the original 10X, because he had 10 kids. Okay, buddy, I love you, man.